I don't believe I've ever met an individual who did not, at some time in their life, struggle with some kind of a vice. And these vices we use in order to numb pain, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. These vices are things we're all familiar with, right? It could be drugs, it could be alcohol, it could be food, it could be exercise, it could be gambling, it could be pornography, sex addictions. There are so many different things. And it doesn't necessarily have to be something that is extremely destructive. It could be a good thing. There are levels of vices. There are good things. There are bad things. There are destructive things. And when used inappropriately, they create a numbing for us so that we can zone out from whatever it is we're going through. And if you're struggling with one of these vices and you find yourself going to social media or to whatever it might be to literally check out and dissociate from whatever it is you're going through, there's a really simple solution of how to overcome this. But we need to understand the purpose of pain. I want you to imagine that you are touching something extremely hot, like the pan on a stove, and you don't recognize that it's as hot as it is until you touch it. In that moment, what is it that you feel? Pain, burning, right? And instantaneously, what do? You pull your hand away. That pain serves a very important purpose, and it's to bring conscious awareness to the fact that what you're doing right now is destroying your physical body. And if you don't change your physical behavior and pull your hand away, you could lose your skin, and it may never come back. So that's what our unconscious mind does. It has a blueprint, and we'll use my hand here as an example. This is your blueprint for ideal physical health, and it's held deep in your unconscious mind. And if you're ever doing something that's not in alignment with your ideal physical health, like touching something that's burning, then your unconscious mind sends a warning signal through your nervous system. And that warning signal is pain, and the pain is telling you that if you don't change your actions right now, if you don't shift and get back into alignment with this ideal blueprint for your physical health, then you're going to destroy it. And that's the purpose of physical pain. It's a warning system, an alarm to help you know that you need to change. Now, imagine this. You're touching this burning hot pan on the stove. And in that moment, when you feel that pain, I come to you and I say, hey, listen, instead of pulling your hand away, why don't you just take some painkiller and you can keep touching that? Or why don't you just get wasted? Here's some strong liquor. Why don't you look at this funny video on YouTube, or look what so-and-so is doing, or hey, let's look at this opportunity to make all this money on this thing that we're going to be gambling for, or check out this pornography, or whatever it is. It sounds ridiculous, right? And that's because it is ridiculous. In that moment, if I ask you to do something to cover the pain that you're going through, you're not going to do it. You're going to say, no, I'm going to actually take care of what's causing this pain, and I'm going to pull my hand away. Now, I love asking this question. I'm going to be interested to find out what your initial response is when I ask it. When you're experiencing that pain in that moment, you're touching that hot object, is that pain good or bad? Most people will say the pain is bad, right? Because if we continue to feel that pain, it's going to continue to hurt us even further. Well, think about it. If pain is a warning signal to preserve the integrity and get you back into alignment with this ideal physical health, then it's a good thing. What would be better? To feel the pain or not feel the pain? If you didn't feel the pain and you were burning your skin away, then that would be a bad thing. Let me tell you a story. We had a good friend who lost his wife, and he was in his 80s. and we would have him come over for dinner about once a week. And he had diabetes, and one of the side effects of his diabetes was he had neuropathy, and he didn't have a lot of feeling in his feet. And one day I asked him, I said, how was your day today? And he said, well, I went to the doctor. I said, what did you go to the doctor for? He said, I just felt like there was something funny going on with my feet. I said, so what did the doctor find? He said, the doctor pulled a thumbtack out of my heel. I was shocked. I couldn't help but laugh, and he laughed with me, but he did not know because he couldn't feel the pain of that thumbtack. He just knew that there was something going on in his feet that he needed help with. And that is a bad thing when we can't feel physical pain. He would, if he hadn't taken care of it, could have had some serious, repercussions from that thumbtack staying in his foot. So, pain is good. Physical pain serves a purpose. It brings our attention to what it is that's wrong in our body so that we can take care of it. Now, unfortunately, there are a lot people that get addicted to prescription medications and painkillers. It's a worldwide problem, and I know people personally who have been affected by this. And the idea that taking the pain away will solve the physical problem just doesn't jive. And yet so many people believe that that's what it will take. So I want you to think about pain on a different note now. I want you to imagine that this is an ideal blueprint for your mental, your emotional, your spiritual well-being. And if you're ever feeling a negative emotion, if you're feeling anger or sadness, if you're feeling fear and hurt or guilt or shame, the purpose of that negative emotion is to bring your attention to what it is you're thinking. And the warning is, if you keep thinking this way and you're staying out of alignment with your highest and best self, then you're going to destroy your soul. You're going to destroy your spirit. You're going to destroy the you that's inside you. Now, just like the physical pain, the mental and emotional, that pain that we feel deep within us is a warning signal. And it goes from our unconscious mind through our nervous system, and we feel negative emotions often in our body. So when we're feeling anger, when we're feeling the sadness, the deep depression, when we're feeling the shame of whatever's going on, it can become very easy to identify with that and say, I am depressed. I am anxious. I am shameful. It becomes who we are. What we then do, unfortunately, is we bring one of these numbing devices to this moment of pain. And we say, well, if I can just drug it away, right? Like literally with drugs or prescription drugs or whatever that might be, or if I can drink it away, or if I can distract myself from what's really going on here, then I won't have to experience the effects of my thoughts and what they're doing to my soul. And that is just as crazy as someone that's trying to continue to touch a burning hot pot on a stove, right? A burning stove, and trying to numb that pain with distraction. And yet we do it. We do it all the time. And while prescription medications might serve their purpose to some extent to help someone survive what they're going through, they are not a long-term answer to someone whose thoughts are not in alignment with who they truly are. What we need to do is change those thoughts. Just like over here, when you're touching something hot, we need to change our actions or change our physical movement. Now, when we can get our thoughts into alignment with who we truly are, then the negative emotion has served its purpose. It doesn't need to be there any longer. Let me give you an example. Let's say you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off. And they don't do it in a way that actually puts you in any harm's way. It's just more annoying and frustrating, and you feel like, like you're taking it personally, and you feel angry, and inside you feel your blood boiling, and you want to say something either with your mouth or with your hand. And in that moment, I want you to imagine little shoulder angel Andrew showing up and saying, hey, what are you focusing on right now? This guy just cut me off. Like, who does he think he is? And I say, okay, what are you making this mean? Well, I mean, how dare he do that to me, right? Like, doesn't he know, like, the rules of the road, and that he could be, getting in a wreck? And I say, okay, well, do you like how you feel right now? Honestly, like, is this a good feeling for you? Is this serving you? Oh, probably not. Okay, well, what would you like to experience instead? Well, I just don't want him to do this. Okay, we're not talking about him. We're talking about you. I think most people would rather be in a state of joy and peace. And the anger is telling us that the way that we're thinking right now is not in alignment with who we truly are. And if we can change those thoughts, and if we can create new meaning from situations that happen in our lives, like someone cutting us off, and realize, hey, it has nothing to do with you. But when you make it about you, that thinking is destroying you. Because no, you don't deserve to be treated that way, but he doesn't know that. He doesn't even know that you're there. Whoever it was that cut you off. She might just be thinking that that you were further back, or maybe she's in an extreme hurry in an emergency. It has nothing to do with you. And so when we can change the meaning that we give to things, then we can change our emotional state, and we can turn off that warning signal. Because again, the purpose of the pain is to bring our awareness to our thoughts. If we can change our thoughts, then we don't have to feel that way anymore, and we can get back into a state of peace and joy and love, which is what we all are. That's how we were created. Look at a baby. Peace, joy, love. You're the same way. Now, again, we have a society that is just completely emotionally unintelligent. They do not have EQ, emotional quotient, right? Like IQ, emotional intelligence. Like, they don't have that emotional intelligence. They don't know how to deal with and learn from and handle their emotions. So we medicate them, we drink them, we oversex them, we social media them, we distract ourselves with sports and television and all kinds of things, because we don't know how to deal with our emotions. So the next time that you're feeling a heightened negative emotion, realize that just like physical pain, it's not a bad thing. Just because it's a negative emotion doesn't mean it is bad. When something feels bad, it doesn't mean it is bad. That bad feeling that happens when your fire alarm goes off in your home, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's there to protect us. And so are your negative emotions. And if you can bring awareness to what you're thinking and change your thoughts to be back into alignment with who you truly are, then that negative emotion has served its purpose. If you don't make the change, if you don't pull the thumbtack out of the heel, you're going to continue to hurt yourself. Your spirit will be aching and yearning for more. And no amount of numbing can ever deal with what it is that's actually going on inside you. Just like no amount of painkiller can heal a broken bone. No amount of numbing, no amount of distraction, no amount of medication or any kind of thing that we go to can take care of a mental or emotional challenge. That mental or emotional challenge is there to strengthen you and remind you of who you are and bring you back to the very best version of yourself. Now, I recognize that there is a lot that I've just shared. And if you have further questions and you want to dive into what this means for you personally, I am happy to answer any and all questions that you might have. I will spend time with you one-on-one, and we can dive into what it is that you need to be learning and the changes that you can make so that you can preserve the best you, that spirit child of God that's inside you. You deserve it. And those that are counting on you to lead and love them deserve to have you be at your very best as well. And I'm here to help.